in your comments. So, what is the information that is currently coming out right about now? PeterObi recently supported the call for the hashtag Free Nnamdi Kanu protest. He did not say he's participating, but he has said they had always advocated for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. He has always said that he never expects Nnamdi Kanu to his continuous detention in within the DSS custody. Now, PeterObi actually said that. While he was encouraging Nigerians to be part of the process, he believed that he had always maintained if he was one, he would ask them what your problem is, negotiate, and possibly a resolution will be found, but that he doesn't see any reason why Nnamdi Kanu's continuous detention should be on at this time, with the judicial system actually taking their time. Now, no recommendation has been made and no political solution has been. He used the same breath in Abuja to indicate that he is running in 2027 for just 4 years. He did not indicate or disclose a political party because, as it stands now, it is still being kept under the lead. We've had different speculations about what PeterObi intends to do or what political party he intends to join, but by next month, which is November, he would let his followers know what political party he belongs. Interestingly, too, PeterObi, the former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has eventually filed a suit against Deji Adeyanju over reckless and defamatory comments. In the suit filed at the State High Court in Onitsha, Anambra State, Obi is seeking a declaration that the comments made by Adeyanju against him via social media are false, baseless, unfounded, malicious, reckless, scandalous, and defamatory. So he's also asking the court to order Adeyanju to tender an unreserved apology to him on social media and in 3 national newspapers. So the order is compelling the defendant, in this case Deji Adeyanju, to immediately retract and delete from all his social media platforms, including but not limited to his X handle at Deji Adeyanju, his verified Facebook account, Deji Adeyanju, Instagram account at Adeyanju Deji, and any other platforms or sites. All false and malicious publications describing the plaintiff with derogatory labels, including a leader of a mob, a religious bigot, fraud, scum, political fraud, political prostitutes, allegations of financial misconduct, dishonesty, or abuse of office which have harmed the plaintiff's personal, political, and professional reputation. That is part of what is being sued against Deji Adeyanju. Deji Adeyanju is meant to make all of these publications on any of the national dailies and any of the most watched television outlets, Channels Television, Arise Television, and News Central. This was part of what was written in the suit for Deji Adeyanju to compel himself to. Now, Deji Adeyanju now went to his Twitter handle and tweeted and said, PeterObi has finally done this. Thank God he did not chicken out. And that he's wondering why Onitsha, Anambra State, when he knows he resides in Abuja. And he said, okay, no problem. Let's go ahead with this. Interesting, isn't it? Now, former governor of Ekiti State, Aifo just finished a live broadcast with Seun Okinbaloye of Channels Television. In that live broadcast, he said that the only opposition right now in Nigeria is PeterObi and not Atiku. Atiku, if at all it is Atiku, definitely before 12 noon, Tinubu would win the elections. In other words, with all of the opposition that is said to be on ground, the only one that is supposedly being considered is PeterObi. Now, the anchor asked him that your method of politics is funny because you seem to be all everywhere and nowhere. Today you praise President Bola Tinubu, tomorrow you praise Nyesom Wike, next tomorrow you say APC is the best, next tomorrow you say oh PDP is not. And then he said there is no need for him to actually mince words. He would focus on what he's focusing on and say the truth as it is. He says right now there is no opposition that can defeat Tinubu in 2027. And with the aesthetics already on ground, it actually seems to be true. Do you know that right now the APCO is almost getting to 30 governors? The Minister of Information and Orientation, Idris, has actually disclosed that by 2026, APC will be in charge of 30 states. 30 states. He was so confident. The funny thing is, the APC has been consistent by saying that most of the state governors who are not APC members will defect to their state, and that is what is happening. Governor PeterObi of Enugu State defected yesterday, and today, Diri of Bayelsa defected to the APC. So the question is, what is happening, and how has the APC been going about this? What attractive method did they apply? What exactly is wrong with the opposition? What caused the death of the People's Democratic Party? Who were the elements involved in causing the death of the PDP? Atiku is no longer there. Wike says he's in the PDP, but we know he is working for the APC. In fact, today he made a mockery of some of his members who used to be in the PDP who have currently defected. He said there were accusations that he was working for APC while he was in PDP and that he was heavily involved in anti-party activities. In fact, they were ready to expel him in the next national convention. But that look at now, all the people who were brandishing him, all the people who were calling him names are the ones in the APC, and he is in the PDP. So the question is, what caused the death of the PDP? How did the PDP become a shadow of himself, a shadow of itself? It's now a ridicule. It's a big question, isn't it? But it's a question that we all have to answer. How did President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his political team do this? Most of the governors now signing to become part of the party, the All Progressives Congress. Now, here is the secret that a couple of people think it is. So you know that the governors do not actually encapsulate the entire population of the region, but the governors wield a strong influence on the resident electoral commissioners in individual states. If you recall Tony Okocha, the chairman of the APC in Rivers State, he had said on 2 different occasions, which were recorded by the media, that they know how to go about these things. They would tell the resident electoral commissioner what to do. He does that, and they tell them to announce the result. They go to the courts and choose the judge that will be in charge of it. They settle the judge. The judge needs to reverberate the decision of the resident electoral commissioner. In other words, it is a dem system, and they know how they go about it. So this is why it is fearful for the governors to defect to the APC, because they control what happens at the wards. And where is the propensity for balance, justice, and fairness in elections? So it's terrible, it's crazy, but people do not understand the influence the governors wield in their respective states. It is when it comes to this, you will now hear people telling you that indeed the governors have woken up, because you can just imagine how the APC is now a 2/3 in the National Assembly. In other words, if a motion comes up right now, there is no opposition to oppose the motion. If the National Assembly says we actually want to see bandits more in this country, do you know it will pass? If APC says that is what they want in the National Assembly, do you know that is basically what it will be? So what exactly is happening with the opposition? How did they let themselves get to this point that nobody can stand up to the APC? There are allegations that they're usually bullied to join the APC, that if you do not join them, you'll definitely be sidelined. You may not even get your access to your funds on time. Now, the information minister is telling us that by 2026, more governors are joining the APC. There is a very strong penchant and possibility that Governor Adeleke will soon join the APC. He has been complaining lately of his allocation being withheld and not having access to state funds. So if he joins the APC, there is a very strong penchant that he may indeed actually get what he's requesting for very easily. Interesting. Well, let's see how the political dynamics unfold, and I do hope that our respective Nigerians are monitoring the political space and will make sure they don't make any wrong choice in 2027. These politicians do not care. They're all about themselves, and anything they will do to sustain to power or hold on to power, they will adopt it. So my question to you as a Nigerian who is interested in what is going on in the polity, how do you intend to change this narrative? How do you intend to do something different, something peculiar, something unique? It's a big deal, right? Interesting. Meanwhile, PeterObi has actually disclosed that he is going for a one-term agenda. in 2027. You recall that this has always been one of the imbroglio within the ADC. Peter Obi, threw his heart in the race, disclosed that he doesn't mind going for one term and he believes that he's going to set Nigeria on the right trajectory if indeed that he eventually decides, or rather, if they actually vote for him to represent Nigerians in 2027. We'll see how that goes. We don't know what political machinations are on ground. We don't know how much they have galvanized, but this is what it is. Because right now, according to what Governor Fayese is saying, he says the only person who is in opposition in this country right now, in terms of official opposition, is Peter Obi. He did not make mention of any political party. He did not make mention of any other politician. He said it's Peter Obi. Maybe because of how things have been going on in Lagos State lately, we do not know. But everywhere and everyone, including at the presidency, they keep talking about Peter Obi all the time. That is all they do. Peter Obi, Peter Obi, Peter Obi. So everyone sees it as a possibility that the government of the day is apprehensive. But if you already have almost 30 governors defecting to your party, would we call that a clean win for President Bola Tinubu in 2027? Well, let's pray for good health and let's see how it will go. A couple of political analysts will say that the 2027 elections is between Tinubu and Nigerians, or is between the APC and Nigerians. Unfortunately, if the electoral reform is not amended, you may not have individual candidates without candidates that need to be part of a political party. So the fear is, what political party will Peter Obi belong to? What political party will he need to belong to? That's the thing. Not in ADC, not in Labour Party. So is he floating, or is there a possibility that he will join the All Progressives Congress? Oh yes, it's a very thing, or it's something that sets the ball rolling. It creates that sense of apprehension a little bit. But being an only opposition, and with everything that has happened, I don't know if the APC team has reached out to him to say, Oga, you need to step down. We can bring you into our fold, and since you have a massive following, could sell the APC in good lights. Maybe until then, but as it stands right now, there is no opposition. The APC is a party in charge. It is the opposition against itself. So whatever the opponents will pray for would have to be whatever it was that kept them binding. That's the only thing. So what is the common goal for Nigerians? What is their priority that is not being attended to by the leaders of today? Do you know another terrorist group has emerged? Another terrorist group that is not Lakurawa, that is not ISWAP, ISIS, Boko Haram, another terrorist group. Now, why wouldn't these things continue? When you see agents of darkness having a meeting with our leaders, and they were brandishing their weapons, different specifications of their weaponry, and nobody routed them, nobody surrounded them to say, you know what, I don't care how you came about it, but something needs to be done and you need to stop this. Oh no, they allow them with their weapons and they're negotiating with them. So it brings to mind that this is the rules and regulation in this country only applies to a minority but not to the majority. So the question is why? And how does an administration that thrives itself in pushing for democracy, including his voice, be part of a system like this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know your thoughts. Kindly subscribe, like, share. Basically, that's what we do. I sincerely do appreciate your thoughts, and I would actually like you to give us more updates. If you're watching this at some point, you'll give us more update on the information that we have here. I intend to come in more often for us to discuss these issues. So have yourself an amazing bye for now.